Good morning, Michelle. I just finished reading through your draft of your change plan, and of course, communication is such a huge issue anytime, and especially critical during the move process. So, when I was reading your start, you have really a really good foundation to get started. And what we're going to do and talk about is actually refining your ideas to morph into a very specific plan. So you have the big picture concepts. We want to whittle that down just a little bit so that we have very incremental steps in how to actually improve the communication surrounding the move process and help to improve communication throughout the organization. So when we're looking at a specific change, we want to make sure that we have very specific steps as we start out. So we know that communication is our area of focus. So we may want to start out in the very beginning taking a look at a particular change process to kind of guide what we're doing. So what I did was I actually pulled up Lewin's change theory because it's basically the simplest one. And I think that your change may fit well within that particular theory. So I'm going to bring that up very quickly. So this is Lewin's change model, and you really need to go to the literature to pull the information. This is just clip art that I pulled just to illustrate the change model. So we start out with unfreeze. So we're looking at what needs to be changed and ensure that there's strong support from management, create the need for change, manage and understand doubts and concerns. So when we're looking at communication, what needs to be done first when we're looking at making those types of changes? So what we want to do, probably number one, is really take a look at the current state as far as communication. And that may be one of the specific objectives that you want to identify, is to develop a team of staff nurses and managers to do an assessment by maybe 6 months out before the move. So start out with that assessment process to see what the current state is and what areas need to be improved for communication. So when you're writing your objectives, it may help you to actually put your plan in bullet points, because that may help you to structure your thought versus putting it in a paragraph that I think is maybe a little muddy. When we're trying to compose based on APA using sentence structure when objectives are very structured. So you may want to include a section at the end of your paper that just outlines, here's my goals, here's the objectives for these goals, not using those words, but have the goal, and then bullet points with all the objectives to achieve that goal as you're writing. So that's something that may help you to think about those specific steps that need to be completed. So if you're writing an objective, it may be to establish a communication team or communication task force, as illustrated by a team of 12 individuals consisting of 8 staff nurses and 4 managers, tasked with the goal of establishing a communication strategic plan by, and then the date. So you're looking at the timeliness, specifically who is doing this and what their objective is. And then the next objective may be to for the established team to complete a SWOT analysis of the communication within the organization by whatever date. So you want to be very specific in exactly who is doing what and when. So use that structure. And like I said, I think if you would line everything out, goal, objective, 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 I think it will help you quite a bit to establish structure. So you may want to say in the unfreeze time frame, these are what are these things, are the things that objectives that will be done during unfreeze. And then when you're doing the change, that may be actually the implementation process. So that's when the managers are doing multiple things with the staff, and it may be that they, through the developing the plan, they decided to do a multimedia campaign, and it may be that they have reminders on the computer screens. It may be that they have flyers in the break room. It may be that at every staff meeting they recap, the state of how things are going as far as the communication plan, and review what each member's responsibility is during the change process. So that would be a couple of different objectives under the change process. And then when you're looking at the refreeze, you want to look at how is that going to be sustained. So you want to make sure that then they're evaluating how the process went, and they're refining that every agenda will have a communication-based issue on the staff meeting agenda, so that you're making sure that not only did you make the change, but you're going to sustain that change to have positive communication. So you want to be very specific as far as what is going to occur to make sure that change stays in place. And again, under the refreeze section, you would have very specific objectives on how you would assure that all the changes stay in place. So I hope this helps you a bit. You have a good global overview of the need for really focusing on communication. So let's mesh that together. And like I said, develop a specific goal. You want to make sure that you have specific objectives to meet that goal. Put it in a format that helps you to think through the process. So just for instance, you may, like I said, you may start out with developing the team, and then that team may want to do a SWOT analysis of the communication, look at the evidence, what type of communication skills would be most appropriate for what those threats or weaknesses may be, and also look at those opportunities for communication as well. So that may be one of the objectives that someone within the committee would be tasked to actually do a literature search and see what areas of communication. And then at that point, maybe the managers need to be educated on those communication skills, as well as integrating the staff in the training too. I think communication is a very definitely two-way, three-way, four-way street. So it's important to have everyone on the same page with the communication skills and building those skills as well. And then from that, you may want to develop maybe a calendar of what is going to happen during the change process, so that everyone's on the same page, that there's going to be, issuance of maybe some social media information for the staff, if they have a separate page. I don't know if they have that. Or if they want to do the computer screen reminders, those types of things. So what is going to happen when, so that it's a multifaceted communication plan. And again, that's based on the evidence that there needs to be different modes of communication in order to really connect with folks. So from that, again, you would go into the implementation phase, and then throughout the implementation phase, you would make sure that that calendar is being adhered to, and that if there's any changes that need to occur, during that implementation, like something isn't working exactly as planned, that it may need to be tweaked. And then finally, when you're getting to the refreeze stage, then you're really looking at maybe doing some progress reports, maybe doing intermittent spot checks, making sure that communication is a high priority on staff meetings, and maybe a daily tidbit about building communication skills on the computer screen, something like that. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. We can most certainly talk over the phone as well. So I hope this helps to provide a bit of clarity to you as you're moving forward in the structure of your proposed change plan. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.